Welcome back. I'm just going to give everybody a moment to sink this in, because this is what I look like now. It's usually like 6 months to a few years between videos at this point. I was actually rewatching some stuff, the 3 videos I made earlier this year. I rewatched them this morning, and I didn't hate them. And I still feel pretty good that I could maybe turn this into something, because people keep telling me that. And I just lost my job, and I fucking hate Uber Eats driving. I can't Uber Eats drive like I used to. I used to just get up as early as possible, drive, do as many deliveries as possible, kill myself, be in my car all day. I basically lived in my car like a year and a half when I first moved out here, doing nothing but delivering food to people in the greater Los Angeles area. I've come to the conclusion that there are too many things to consume. It's impossible to read, watch, play everything that I want to read, play, and watch. I am going to try again to use this channel as an outlet to just talk about things that I love. Maybe this will be a good reason for me to keep going with shows instead of finishing like right towards the end of the season and then just never watching it again. 2 shows that I've really been eager to talk about are Scott Pilgrim Takes Off and Scavenger's Reign. One was a show that I obviously was looking forward to. It's Scott Pilgrim. I'm a huge fan of that movie. I've never finished the book. I'm really sorry. I've never finished the book, but I've read the first 3 trades, and I just never got around to finishing it. It's fantastic. It's some of the best comic book stuff ever, and I gotta say, I was not expecting to fall back in love with this world and these characters as much as I am right now. I'm only halfway through just because I just don't want them to end, and Scott Pilgrim's only 8 episodes. So far, the last couple episodes, the ones around Lucas Lee and Todd, have just been absolutely hilarious. The joke with the movie and the cast has always been, oh, you could never get a cast like this together again. But they did. They just slip right back into these characters so easily. Chris Evans as Lucas Lee just makes me laugh every time, and it's actually taking a lot of twists and turns that I wasn't expecting, and I'm sure a lot of fans of the comic and movie were just not expecting. That's all I'll really say about that. I don't typically watch a lot of anime, and I want to. I really love Akira, and I love Perfect Blue. Those are 2 of my favorite films of all time. I really love the Studio Ghibli movies that I have seen. Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke is fantastic. I just don't really get into anime shows as much. I've seen the first few episodes of Attack on Titan, and I got distracted, and I just never continued. Maybe through this whatever this is, I'll get back into it. Because it's when I watch stuff like Akira or now Scott Pilgrim Takes Off that I'm like, I should have been watching anime this whole time. The animation is just amazing. It's like nothing that I've ever seen before. It's just fantastic, and I can't say more amazing things about it. That's all I can really say. They haven't said if they're gonna make a second season. I don't know if I would want to make a second season or have this continue. I kind of like that this could just be one sort of one-off season where they got the cast back together and they told like a different version of the story, and that would be it, and I would totally be okay with that. It would just be 8 fantastic episodes that I could just rewatch endlessly. I could definitely see myself rewatching this again soon. The other show that I'm halfway through is Scavenger's Reign. This kind of just came out of nowhere for me. I saw that it was on Max. I think I saw that Nerd Writer made a YouTube video about it, and I watch everything that he makes, so I saw it on Max, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch this. Last year, Barry was my favorite show. This year, it might have to be Scavenger's Reign. I haven't seen a cool new science fiction story like this in a while. I know everybody tells me to watch The Expanse and shows like The Expanse, and I get it. I'm sure I'd like The Expanse, but oh man, this scratches all the different little itches for me. It's got a little bit of Alien in there. It's got a little bit of Akira in there. And then out of nowhere, halfway through the season, it's got a little bit of John Carpenter's The Thing in there. And that's my favorite horror movie. Oh my gosh, if you have Max, if you're rich enough, or if you have roommates who are rich enough, or parents who pay for Max, and you want to see a cool sci-fi show, it feels a little like Samurai Jack in its story structure. It's very careful and calculated with how it tells its story. You get little bits of the past and the lore here and there. It's fantastic. It's great. I really love it. I can't wait to finish the season. I don't want to talk too much about this next one because I feel like this could be its own video, but I started watching Friends again, and I haven't watched Friends in a while, not since my freshman year of college back in 2016. Yeah. Early 2016 was like right around the time when Friends was starting to get hate for some reason because people didn't like the idea of 6 white people living in amazingly large apartments in New York with a balcony, that you inherited from your relatives, and you're all young and attractive and all you complain about is coffee and relationships. And I get it. For me, I had to take a break because I watched it my freshman year of college. I don't know, it was feeling a little stale for me because I used to watch Friends a lot. My family watches it religiously. When we're out in public, my parents will make Friends references that even I don't remember. And I'm like, Mom, I don't understand this Friends. Nobody understands this. I love you though. But nobody understands this Friends reference you're making right now. And my dad always says the same thing. Still makes me laugh. I love you, Scott and Gail. You're the best. Thank you for letting me watch it at such a young age. I can't remember a time when I wasn't watching it. With all of the things that have been happening, I never got around to watching the reunion. I started rewatching Friends again. I'm in the middle of season 2 right now, and I'm gonna wait till I'm at the end of season 10 to watch the reunion. I'm watching it with a friend, and we're just crying and laughing the whole time. So that's all I'll say about Friends. Another show that I thought I'd never start watching, but I finally got around to it was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm in the middle of season 2 right now. This is a show that I thought I'd never get around to because whenever I try to watch older shows, and not that I have anything against older shows, but I don't really like watching really long 22 to 24 episode seasons where the stories are just stretched, and I was forced to watch a lot of Vampire Diaries with my ex, and oh my god, that show is so bad. It's just so bad. It was always Buffy the Vampire Slayer and X-Files. Those were always the 2 shows that I always heard about being just incredible and amazing and revolutionary and paving the way for science fiction and nerds and stuff like that. I did watch season 1 of the X-Files, and I feel so weird saying this, but I just couldn't get into it. So I've just never really gotten around to Buffy, but a friend of mine has been forcing me to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I like it. It's good. I really like Xander. I really like Cordelia and what they got going on. I really love Sarah Michelle Gellar, and the whole cast is great. She's fantastic. Everything is great. The special effects are pretty good for the time. Every time there's a puppet, I get excited. The one thing that I don't like, and the only time that I just really don't want to watch the show, is whenever Angel is on screen. Buffy, there's vampires in Sunnydale. You know that Kevin James meme where he's like, has his hands in his pockets? Every time I see Angel, I just think of that meme. Buffy, I threw up. Ugh! Every time Angel is on screen, and now Buffy is dating Angel, and ugh! Buffy, my tummy hurts and nobody realizes how brave I'm being. I can't believe he got 5, I hope it's only 5, I thought it was either 5 or 7 seasons of his own show. Jesus, I don't like him, not one bit. I've been playing through Alan Wake 2, the video game, which I have to gush about it just for a second. I haven't been a fan of Remedy for a long time, but I've always appreciated their style and the way that they present their games and their mix of live action and gameplay, and I've just always loved that stuff. I can't forget to talk about Alan Wake 2. I'm about halfway through it right now. It's fantastic. It's amazing. I finally finished the first Alan Wake, and it was good. Fun little quirky Twin Peaks Stephen King inspired little action game. It's got a fun world with kooky characters. Getting into the second one though, I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible. Alan Wake 2 to Alan Wake 1 is what Twin Peaks Season 3 is to Twin Peaks Season 1 and 2. No, Season 2 of Twin Peaks is fine. Just every time James gets on that damn motorcycle, I just fast forward. I can't hit fast forward fast enough. I don't even know where to start with Alan Wake 2 because I've been trying to explain to my friends how amazing and meta this game is, but every time I do, they're just like, that makes no sense. And I'm like, I know, but that's the point. It's spooky. It's got great performances. The graphics are cool, except some of the shadows look really pixely. I'm about halfway through it, but I can't keep going with it because I can't stop playing Spider-Man 2. The last show that I just started recently that, fingers crossed, I actually finish it, is True Detective Season 1. I started watching True Detective Season 1, and I heard that, Alan Wake 2 had some, True Detective-y stuff, but I'd never seen it, and as soon as I started watching, I was like, yep, there it is. I get it. Yeah, and if you've seen it, you know what I mean. I like that it's kind of a documentary style. It's jumping between the past and the present. I'm really digging Matthew McConaughey. I'm pretty sure this was right during the McConaissance. True Detective was right before or after the McConaissance had begun, or this was the beginning of the McConaissance, or was Dallas Buyers Club the beginning of the McConaissance? These are all important questions. I wasn't aware that Alexandra Daddario was on the show. And, she's just great on it. It's very much like Twin Peaks, but if it was a really serious drama with no supernatural elements, it was just a cult that Dale Cooper was going up against. But instead of Dale Cooper being all quirky and fun, everybody hates him, and he looks like Matthew McConaughey. Fine, I'll rewatch Twin Peaks again, I guess. I'm only 2 episodes in to True Detective Season 1. I've heard that the other 2 seasons aren't as good, so I'll probably just stop with this one season. I hope I finish it. Speaking of finishing things, now I'm going to move on to the things that I actually have finished, and I'm not halfway through or just started or almost done and I'm probably never going to watch again. I'm currently on my 3rd playthrough of Spider-Man 2. This has been my most anticipated thing for the past 5 years. Since the first game came out, I'm like, you know what, just give me more. And honestly, after playing Spider-Man 2, I'm ready for more. Us Spider-Man fans are eating really good this year. 2018 and 2023, fantastic years for Spider-Man fans. I don't think story-wise it's better than the first one, but it's got a lot of really cool stuff in it. The dialogue and characters are pretty safe. Is cookie cutter the right word? It just feels like there's too much positive reinforcement in the dialogue of the gameplay, for younger, it's for the younger kids. My only complaints about it are certain things that I'm hoping are getting fixed with New Game Plus, but other than that, it's not the greatest story ever, but it's got a lot of really cool stuff in it. I know I already said that, but it's the next Spider-Man game from Insomniac. It's amazing. I'm going to play it all the time now. And oh my goodness, I can't believe it took me this long to actually go back to the movies. I haven't been to the movies since Barbenheimer, maybe? No, wait, I saw Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was the last movie that I saw in theaters. And I liked Blue Beetle. That was good. If you have Max, watch it. Oh, no, wait, I saw Past Lives as well, and that made me cry. I don't think I went to see a movie in September or October. I think I might have mentioned before, but I'm currently between jobs at the moment. We'll just say that. I've been Uber Eats driving on the side, and it's awful. It was particularly slow the other day, and I realized that I hadn't been to the movies in a minute. There was a new Marvel movie, and I haven't seen Loki Season 2 yet. I've only seen the first episode. I remembered that there was a new Marvel movie in theaters, and Marvel was in the title, and I went to go see the Marvels. Something kind of silly happened while I was on my way into the theater. I was texting a friend, and I asked them if they wanted to go see that new Thanksgiving horror movie called Thanksgiving. And they said no, because going to the movies was expensive, and we shouldn't be spending money on expensive things like that while we're between jobs. And I texted, okay, as I was walking in to go see the Marvels. So, if you're watching this, I like going to the movies, so I didn't mind going to the movies. And it wasn't even that expensive. Most movie theaters, it's upwards of $12, $14, but the movie theater that I go to, it's only $10. And they have the recliner seats, they have all the customs and comforts of a modern theater, but they still have all the cool neon lights. But yes, I did go see the Marvels, and it was not the worst. It was definitely not as bad as Quantumania, but it's definitely not as I can't even say it because it's so obviously not as good. You know, it's fine. It didn't feel like it had a lot of the padding that some Marvel movies have. It felt like they kept it very simple with the pacing and the plot beats, and it didn't feel like the movie was ever dragging for me personally. I thought that the chemistry between the actors was good enough to carry the film. Iman Vellani literally carries this movie on her. Well, I wish they gave her actual powers from the comics, but I guess they can't animate that and have it not look goofy. We'll see what they do with Pedro as Reed Richards. Oh my god, I can't believe that that's the casting. I don't know how to feel about that. I liked Miss Marvel. I thought it was fine. Definitely for a younger audience, but, you know, I still thought that the family stuff was pretty solidly written. I really loved her in Miss Marvel. I thought that show was highly underrated. It's definitely better than She-Hulk, even though I did like She-Hulk to some extent. It was fine. I liked the Daredevil cameo. Sue me. And to see this new up-and-comer go toe-to-toe with a veteran like Brie Larson, who's been in the game for a minute, and they just have such great chemistry, and I'm forgetting the actress who plays Monica. Let me look it up. Teyana Paris. She's fantastic as well. To see this newcomer to the Marvel Universe and just acting and movie making in general, to see her make such big statements against Kevin Feige and to be so outspoken about how she doesn't care about the box office. She just wants to have fun making a movie, and she cared about making the movie, and it shows. And you can tell that they gave a shit, you know, when making this movie. A little bit. There was a little bit of a shit given. That's gotta be appreciated. I haven't seen too many other reviews, but I've got a feeling that people aren't really liking this one very much because the villain isn't too interesting. I would say that this is Brie Larson's best turn as Captain Marvel. I wasn't so hot on the first one because the structure of the movie just felt like all of the emotional beats were out of place, and so I couldn't quite connect. But I will say with this one just being a straightforward beginning, middle, and end, no flashbacks, no amnesia, Brie Larson is able to really breathe in the movie a little bit more and just kind of relax and kick back. And it's nice because we get these moments where the characters are just together on their little ship, on their little adventure, and they're learning how their powers work, and that's when the movie is vibing with me. Honestly, I can't think of anything that I really didn't like about the movie. There was never a weird joke that, I mean, not every joke landed, but there was never an overabundance of humor that doesn't land. There wasn't an overabundance of scenes that just didn't need to be there. Honestly, I'm just a little refreshed because it didn't have to do with all that multiverse stuff, and there wasn't an abundance of cameos, and it was just a straightforward heroes versus villain story, and it was fine. I didn't hate it. I will say the only thing that made me very confused, and I'm just not too sure about it, was the end credits scene. And I don't know if you care about spoilers, but Kelsey Grammer is back as Beast, but he's not all human looking and practical effects looking like he was in his first two movies. Now he looks like a cartoon version of Beast, but it's Kelsey Grammer's voice, and they're using the theme from the original X-Men movies. Why just do something new, Marvel? Just do something new! How hard is that? You already brought Patrick Stewart back as Professor X. That's all we needed. And we're getting Hugh Jackman back in the Deadpool movie, and that's all we need. We don't need to continue that universe. That universe is over. And I get it, because I grew up with that universe, and I love parts of that universe too. X-Men First Class is the best X-Men movie. I don't need the original cast to come back. I want something new. And that's the biggest issue that I have with Marvel, and I'm pretty sure I said it last time. Marvel needs to mature with their audience, they need to grow up with their audience, and they just need to do something new. Thankfully, the Marvels wasn't, overly familiar, but it's definitely not one of the best. It's in the middle, it's definitely in the better half, I'd say. Marvel still puts out good movies, but they are getting a little stale. That's all, and hopefully something soon will shake things up with Marvel, and they can either reboot or find a new direction to go that's fresh, that's going to get people to care again. Now that James has finished up Guardians of the Galaxy and he's on to DC, I think DC is ready to put its dukes up for real this time, for actual real this time, and not 10 years of confusion and properties in the air and rewrites and reshoots and studio interference and oh god, I hope James can just wash all of that off of us when he makes his new Superman movie.